So hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope your Saturday is actually going well. We actually have a lot of things to talk about today. So when you join, can you just say hi? When you join, just say hi so I can greet you. So yeah, I have a couple of things to talk about. Can you see my paper is filled up? I have like 4 sheets of paper. I've been writing a lot of stuff. Basically, I've been writing the answers to your questions, right? So the first question, I'm just going to jump right into it. The first question, hi Licia, thank you for joining. So the first question we have here, I'm just going to jump right in, guys. Hi Chiamaka, thank you for joining. So the first question is from Courtney Okeke. She actually dropped this question during the last live stream, but I couldn't answer it because of the time. Hi Zainab, thanks for joining. Guys, I've learned to. I'm keeping my phone the right way in this live stream. The last live stream, I kept my phone the other way, so I didn't like the outcome of the video. But I've learned. I'm keeping my phone the right way now. So yes, so this question is from Courtney Okeke. Hi Gloria, thanks for joining. And she says, how to get funding for your fashion business, as well as the platforms to use to access these fundings. And then she also asked how to register your business for Lagos Fashion Week and any other fashion show. Okay, so let me get to the answer. So, what did I write that question now? What did I write that answer? Okay, so let's see. Guys, these papers are so confusing. Okay, yeah. Let's start with how to get funding for your fashion business. Please, when you join, just say hi. How to get funding for your fashion business. First of all, you have to ask yourself, why do you actually need funding? Okay? Because the truth is that I say money has a spirit. If somebody gives you 2 million naira now, hi, Victor. That's my friend. Okay, so if someone gives you, let's say, 2 million naira now, and they tell you use it for your business. The truth is that if you don't have a plan or you don't know what you want to use that money for, you will misuse it. That one is for sure. So the first thing I'll say is ask yourself or decide why you actually need funding. So is it to start up? Is it to set up your business? Is it to get tools like sewing machines? Is it to get a rental space? Do you need it for expansion? Maybe you already have a small place you're working, or you're working from home and then you want to expand to a bigger place, right? So you have to ask yourself, why do you need funding? It could also be for marketing. That's a huge part of ready to wear, having a ready to wear business. I'm going to talk about ready to wear business much later during this stream. But you have to ask yourself, the first question is, why do you actually need funding? And now the second question, okay, the second thing you have to think about is the sources. There are different sources that you can get funding. The first and the most obvious one is self-funding. You have to fund your business yourself. I feel like this is like the first one, and it is the most important, because if nobody sees that you are putting your own resources into your business, nobody wants to. Hi Glory, thanks for joining. Nobody wants to invest in you if you're not ready to invest in yourself. Do you understand? If people see that your business has potential, then they'll be more willing to invest in you. Good to see you again, Glory. Thanks for joining. So people will be more willing to invest in your business if you are willing to invest in your business. Does that make sense? So you could have a different source of income. You could have maybe a 9 to 5 job, and then you use the money you get from there to invest in your business. Or you could have another source of income. Maybe you do another business on the side, and then you take money from that business and then use it to fund your fashion business. Okay, so whatever the case is, self-funding is one of the sources. The second source is family and friends. This one is a bit tricky because this family and friends one is very tricky, because what I'll say is, you know how they say terms and conditions apply? Exactly, that's what it is for family and friends funding, because you may ask your uncle or your auntie to give you money for your business, and maybe in your mind you're not supposed to pay back. But what if they actually think you're supposed to pay back, or they expect you to pay back, or they expect that they'll be getting certain amount of returns as your business is progressing and all of that? Guys, can you hear me? There's so much noise around me, like outside. So, can you guys hear me well? Hope you guys can hear me well, Sha. Okay, so that's one thing. So, when I say that when it comes to family and friends funding, terms and conditions apply. Okay, terms and conditions apply. So, let it be clearly stated. What is this money for? You need to let them know what the money is for, and also let them know um, whether you're going to pay back, or they should let you know whether they expect you to pay back and when are you expected to pay back this money. Okay, so that one is aside, and then the next one is banks. So we obviously know that one. There's loans and all of that. Then during my research for this particular question, I discovered that, maybe not discovered sha, but I was reminded of this particular Bank of Industry. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. They provide funds for fashion designers and then other people in the fashion industry. Okay, so they also provide graduate entrepreneurship fund. That's a mouthful, for NYSC core members. Okay, so they provide a minimum of 500,000 naira and a maximum of 2 million naira. Okay, and then there's GCCO, Guarantee Trust Bank. They provide fashion industry credits via GAPS and GAPS Lite. So if you have GT World, I use GT Bank and I have the GT World app. So if you have the GT World app, on the bottom right corner, you're going to see where you see sign into GAPS Lite. So if you sign into the GAPS Lite, I think you're supposed to have your own sign up account details and all of that. I don't know how it works. I haven't tried it. So take this with a pinch of salt. Um, and they also provide, like I said, fashion industry credits, and they give a minimum of 250,000 naira and a maximum of 5 million naira. And these are loans, so you have to pay back. It's not free money, okay? So you have to pay back within a particular amount of time, and there's interest. So there's interest rates. So there's a particular amount of money that you need to pay on top of the money you borrowed when you are paying back, okay? Now there's another one, another source of funding, that is grants. Okay, so these grants are given, and the good thing about grants is you don't have to pay back. So it's basically free money, and we all love grants, don't we? So these grants, they are given to startup businesses, and they do not have to be repaid, like I said. And then you have the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and you also have the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program. Now, for all of these different sources, okay, for the last two, like for the banks and for the grants, there are a couple of requirements that you need to meet. Okay, you need to meet a couple of requirements. For example, your business has to be registered. You may need to provide a portfolio of your work. Might not be the case for every source, and you may also need to provide a business proposal. So I hope I've answered your question, Courtney. That's a long one. Okay. For the second part of her question, she's asking how to register your fashion business in Lagos Fashion Week or GCCO Fashion Weekend or any other fashion show, basically. So there are lots of fashion shows, and there are different requirements, like I said. So I think the first step is to visit their websites. That is basic. Visit the website of the fashion show you want to be a part of, and then find out what the requirements are, what you need to provide. Make sure you meet the requirements, apply. And then I would say that for this one, your business again has to be registered, because when you're talking about things like this, it's not like set in stone. I'm not saying that for all fashion shows your business has to be registered, but for most of them it's a requirement, and it makes sense because if your business is registered, then it shows that you are serious about what you are doing, right? What else did I say about this question? Okay, having a good online presence. Some of these fashion shows might require that you have a good online presence, but again, it's not a necessity. It's not important for all fashion businesses. So let's move on to the next question. The next question is from David Hope, and he says, please talk about, I don't know if it's a he or a she. Thank you, Thelma. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but David Hope says, talk about how to start as a beginner. So in my last live stream, I talked about the challenges that a beginner might, pass through while learning how to sew and all of that. So that live stream, if you haven't already watched it, then David Hope, please check it out. But I'm still going to talk a bit about starting as a beginner. Guys, pardon me, there are a lot of papers. Oh dear. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, starting as a beginner. Now, the first thing you have to consider when you're starting as a beginner is how do you want to learn how to sew? That's the first question. How do you want to learn how to sew? Do you want to learn in a university? You can actually study fashion designing like as a course, as a degree in a university. Is that what you want to do? That's what I want to do with my life, Sha. But anyhow, Sha, we'll do it soon. We are still very young. So that is one thing. You can study fashion designing in a university or in a tertiary institution. That is a formal, that is actually formal education, okay? Then you could also learn fashion designing in a fashion school. So you have a fashion designer that has a fashion school, a fashion academy, and then you can enroll for 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, however long you want to register. We'll talk about duration later on. And then when you register, then you can now, learn how to sew. And then that one is kind of like a semi-formal. I wouldn't really call it formal, or you could actually call it formal, but I call it semi-formal. And then the informal way is by becoming an apprentice in a fashion house or a fashion store, a fashion shop. That's the one that is most common in Nigeria. So you just go to meet it doesn't have to be a roadside tailor. You can actually be an apprentice in a fashion house. You can be an intern, whatever you want to call it. But that is the one that you learn on the job. There's no defined course outline most times. There's no defined structure when it comes to the teaching, but you just learn on the job. So as you're there, you're helping them to gum stuff. You're helping them to just basically helping them around the fashion house. And then as you do whatever they ask you to do, then you keep learning, like, right? But with that one, I think that one is the longest. Like, that one takes a longer time for you to really learn because there's no defined structure. You have to basically be able to pick up stuff as you see them happening. Do you understand? So you may have to, you can actually ask questions, obviously, and all of that. But that one, like I said, because it doesn't have a lot of structure, it's not very, very defined. It's learning in that environment takes a longer time. It is possible. And the funny thing is that when you learn with experience like that, you actually really, really get some good gems. Okay. But like I said, it takes a longer time compared to learning in a tertiary institution or learning in a fashion house or fashion academy. In that case, you probably have desk and chairs where you have to sit down and it's like you're in a classroom setting, okay? And then you learn, like they literally have a board telling you this is how to cut a sleeve, and then they are sketching a basic sleeve pattern, and then they are labeling stuff and they are showing you, like, you literally have a course outline that is spelled out, that is defined, and you are able to learn because there's structure. Do you understand? But like I said, in all of these different sources of all of these different ways that you can learn, they are all efficient. You can learn in all these different, you can learn by any means. All these different ways are actually valid. You can learn it with either you can learn with either of these ways. Guys, I don't know why I'm stammering. You can learn with either of these ways, but it all depends on what you want to get out of it, how long you are willing to invest in the process, and the actual place that you're learning. Okay. Now, the fourth way is via online courses. Hi, Cheche Stitches. Thanks for joining. It's okay. Thanks for joining. So you can also learn via online courses. A lot of people have asked me this question: is it possible to learn as a beginner through online courses? It is possible. It's possible because as long as it has structure. For me, what I would say, the most important aspect of learning fashion design is structure. As long as the online course has structure, you know that this is the course outline, the videos are clear, the videos are explanatory, they are detailed, you can actually learn. But the aspect I will tell you that is difficult to learn via online courses when it comes to starting as a beginner, the aspect I'll tell you that is difficult to learn is using a sewing machine. I have a sewing machine behind me, right? My sewing machine is not showing. But learning how to use the sewing machine is very difficult to learn online. You literally need someone to tell you this is how you pedal, you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. I remember when I taught a group of students, I have a video like of that on my channel. I taught a group of students how to sew in a couple of days. And the greatest challenge I had was teaching them how to use the sewing machine. The ones that knew how to use the sewing machine to sew straight and curved lines, it was easy for them to get on to the next level of, drafting basic patterns and all of that. But the greatest challenge they had was learning how to use the sewing machine. So if you want to learn how to sew online, it is affordable compared to the other ones I talked about. So it's more affordable to learn how to sew online compared to in a fashion school, like a university, or in a fashion house, or as an apprentice. Um, but you have to actually try to learn how to use the sewing machine before you enroll in any beginners online course. Is what I'm going to advise you. I actually have a beginners online course that is available. If you guys want to join, let me know. But you have to learn, you have to know how to sew straight and curved lines, and that's one of the questions I ask before anybody enrolls in my beginners course. You have to learn how to sew it, how to use a sewing machine to sew straight lines and how to sew curved lines. You need to know how to do that, and you also need to know how to basically just to sew straight and curved lines, basically. But also you need to have access to a sewing machine that you can practice with. Okay, so yes, let's move on. um Now, when you're considering or when you're trying to determine where you want to learn, you have to think of your budget. How much are you willing to spend? Like I said, the online course is the most affordable. The tertiary institution, like learning fashion designing in a school, like a tertiary institution, like as a degree, that one is the most expensive, as you would normally, like, it's the most expensive, okay? But then the semi-formal and the informal are not as expensive as the formal, which is the tertiary institution. But the online course, like I said, is the most affordable. So you have to think of your budget when you are deciding where you want to learn. And then you have to also think about the particular institution or the place you're learning. If you're learning in fashion school, if you're learning in, where do I call it now? If you're learning in fashion school, if you're learning in a university, you have to think of what is the experience of the graduates, like the people that have gone through this fashion design course. What is their experience like? Were they able to learn after the course? Were they able to actually sew on their own? You need to do some research. Okay, you may not be able to meet any of these people physically, but if I don't know, Sha, but Sha make a Sha make some research. Like, you need to find out what is the experience of these graduates. Alternatively, if that is difficult for you to find out, you can try to look at the lead tutor, like who is the person that is going to teach you most of the time. What is their work like? Do you like the way they sew? Do you like their products? Do you like their work? You may have done some research and you may have found them online, maybe on Instagram or somewhere. Do you like their designs? Do you like the way their work is? Do you like their finishing? Because the truth is that you can only learn, you how do I put this now? um the person that is teaching you cannot give you what they don't have. Do you understand? If the person does not know XYZ, they cannot teach you XYZ. If they know A to Z, they will teach you A to Z. At least most of them would. Some people, some of these teachers actually hoard knowledge. That's the truth. But ideally, they should teach you what they know about the particular, course, right? So you have to think of that tutor. What is their work like? Do you like their work? How do they make their clothes? Do they do pattern drafting? Do they do freehand? Do they do use both of them? Are they going to teach you both of them? Or are they going to teach you just freehand? Or are they going to teach you just pattern drafting? So you have to consider all those things. I don't want to spend too much time on this particular question, but Courtney, I hope I've answered your. No, that wasn't Courtney's question. I'm so disorganized today, guys. I'm so sorry. I think that was David's question. I think it's all these papers that is confusing me, to be honest. I don't know why I have so many papers. Yes, I hope I've been able to answer your question, David. I think that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. Let me just keep this paper aside so I don't confuse myself. Guys, did you guys vote? Side note, did you guys vote? Who did you vote for? I put a poll on my community tab, and most of you said Peter Obi, but Peter Obi did not win. I don't know what to say, but just breathe. I can only breathe. I can't even. I tire, honestly. I'm tired of Nigeria. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it for that question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The next, God, why are there so many papers in my life? Okay, the next question is from Eukaria said he won. Yes, he won. No, he won actually. He won. The next question is from Maxwell Smith, and this is he says, please talk about ready to wear business. And then Eniola Olayemi Lawal also asked us to talk about, or also asked me to talk about ready to wear business. So I have two people asking the same question. Okay, so Maxwell Smith and Eniola Olayemi Lawal, both of them were asking of ready to wear business, and that one is packed. Okay, so that's why I decided to leave it for last. That one is actually packed. Okay, let's see. Where do I start from? Oh, guys, these papers are too much. Oh, waiting happen. Waiting happen. Oh, why do I have so many papers? Jesus. Okay, finally found the first paper. So when it comes to starting a ready-to-wear business, the first and the most important thing you need to do is to pick a niche. Now, when it comes to bespoke tailoring, custom made garments, someone, my mama in Kechi might come and meet you and say, I want you to make a dress for my daughter that is 2 year old, 2 years old, or 5 years old, whatever the case is. And then you make a ball dress or you make a lovely dress for her daughter. She might come the next day and say, make a jacket for my son. And you do the same thing. When it comes to a ready to wear business, right? You have to pick a niche. When it comes to bespoke tailoring or custom made garments, you can basically you can sew anything. You can sew today. You may be sewing suits. Thank you, Eukaria. Okay. So when it comes to bespoke tailoring, you can sew anything. Do you understand? Today you may be sewing a suit or a blazer. Tomorrow you may sew a wedding dress. Next tomorrow you may sew bridesmaids dresses. Next tomorrow you may sew senator for a man. Do you understand? Like there's no limit. Like you can sew anything anytime, because you're sewing based on the needs of your customer, right? But when it comes to ready to wear, you have to pick a niche. You cannot sew everything because your target audience might not want everything you're sewing. Do you understand? So you have to pick a niche. That's the most important aspect of, oh God, I'm mixing up these papers again. That's the most important aspect of having a ready to wear business. Okay. So you have to decide, do you want to focus on Ankara clothes, maybe Ankara casual wear? Do you want to focus on Adire, Bubu Adire dresses? Do you want to focus on just kiddies dresses, maybe just dresses for baby girls, maybe like ball dresses and all of that? You have to pick a niche because when you pick a niche, it will determine, okay, when you pick a niche, right? The niche you have chosen is going to determine who you're going to market your ready to wear brand to. So, as we're going to discuss further, we're going to see that marketing is a very important aspect of a ready to wear. Thank you so much, Ninanu from Zambia. Wow, all the way from Zambia. Thanks for watching. So, when it comes to, like I said, you have to pick a niche. You have to decide what you want to sew. If you want to sew Ankara dresses, for example, right? You want to sew Ankara dresses. It means that your target audience, it also depends on the kind of Ankara dress, by the way. You may want to sew casual, free, boo Ankara dresses, right? Now, that means that your target audience might be middle-aged women, maybe women from the ages of maybe 20 or 25. I'm just giving an instance. From maybe 25 to 40, 45. Those are the kind of people, or those are the category, or that's the category of people or of women that may like the kind of boo dresses that you're making. Do you understand? Now, if you're making like baby ball dresses, right? If you're making baby ball dresses, your target audience might be the mothers of these babies. Do you understand? So you're trying to look at how you can target those mothers as your audience because it's the mothers that will eventually buy the clothes for their babies, right? If you're making corporate dresses, then your target should be people that work in corporate organizations like banks, uh, insurance companies, finance companies, people that have to appear corporate all the time. So that might be your target audience. So So the niche you pick is very, very important in ready to wear. You cannot sew suits, red wedding dress, ankara dress, corporate dress, all in the same ready to wear business. Even if you do, the truth is that your marketing might be all over the place. You may not know what target audience you should focus more on. And then the truth is, even if you eventually go ahead and sew all these things for your ready to wear brand, some of your designs will sell out before others, right? So if you have a collection of maybe 10 designs, for instance, the truth is that even if you have 10 designs, two or five, maybe two or three or four of these designs will sell out faster than these other ones. Now, we're going to talk about quantity of production as we talk about this ready to wear business. So let's leave that one for now. Let's just, the first point you have to take down is pick a niche. Choose what you want to sew. Now, I would advise that you pick something that you know you are good at. Yes, you may not be doing all the production by yourself. You may have tailors that are helping you sew, or that people that are helping you with the production process. But it's advisable that you pick something that you are good at. So if you're good at sewing ashwabi dresses, you may decide to pick that as your niche. And then because you are very good in it, you have experience, you have knowledge about that particular um, niche. Even when you have tailors that may be making mistakes, if you know very well about, or if you know a lot about that particular niche, you'll be able to correct the tailors and say, okay, no, don't put this like this, or don't cut this like that, or don't gum this particular collar, or don't gum the collar, let it be like that, or gum the collar so it will stand, or gum the peplon so it will stand. Do you understand? You'll be able to advise the tailors, because you cannot just have tailors and let them run the business. It's not their business, it's your business. So you have to have a say. You need to direct. You need to supervise. Okay. So that's the first point, picking a niche. Now, like I said, picking a niche would help with your marketing. It will help you to design your style. So if you have a niche, maybe corporate wears, whenever you're designing any style, whenever you're illustrating or doing any design sketch, you know that, okay, you are sticking to corporate wear and all your sketches are aligned with corporate wear, and not that today you're sketching ashwabi, tomorrow you're sketching wedding dress, next tomorrow you're sketching blazer. Do you understand? So it will help with your designing. It will also help you to communicate better with your customers and your investors. Okay, so we talked about funding. When you're looking to fund your business, you need to be able to tell people what your business is about, who you're focusing on, who your target audience is, because that's all part of your business proposal. So you might say, okay, this is a business that, or this is a fashion design business that targets or sews dresses for babies ages 0 to 3. Do you understand what I'm saying? It will help you to communicate better with potential investors, and to also help you communicate better with your customers. Okay. And the final reason why you should pick a niche is it will help you to target online and offline customers. So again, that also falls in line with marketing. Okay. So the next thing you need to know, or you need to consider when you are running or setting up your ready to wear business, is production time. Now, what is your production timeline? You need to have a well-defined production timeline. How long will it take you to make these garments? Now, this would include sourcing for the fabrics or whatever material you want to use to sew the dress. You also have to consider tailors. Tailors can disappoint you. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but my mom also sews. She has tailors that sew for her. And tailors have shown me and my mother shaggy. I call it me and my mother because you know how family is. One person's problem is everybody's problem. So when the tailor disappoints her, it's like you disappointed me. Do you understand? Like, you know how it's December period and the peak of there's a lot of work. You guys know how December period is now. Most of my viewers are tailors as well. So you guys know what December period is like. There's a lot of work, a lot of orders and all of that. And then you just come to work that morning and guess what? All your tailors have run away. I'm not joking. Like, we've experienced this thing times without number. Like, since I was born, before I was born, my mom was sewing. Like, I came into this world to find my mom sewing. So imagine how long my mother has been sewing. Do you understand? So imagine how many tailors my mom has employed over the course of all these years. Do you understand? So you will just wake up one morning and realize that all your tailors have gone. Like Otilo, all of them have gone. For one reason or the other, You know how they, because they're always working together, they might just connive or just agree and say, we are going, oh. Like, so you have to take into account that your tailors can disappoint you. If your tailors disappoint you, what do you do? It's not enough to say, the tailor disappointed me now, so I'll not do the business again. No. So that also should that should also come into your production timeline. You should also consider that when you are setting a time for your production. Okay. So you could also have disappointments from dispatch riders. Dispatch riders are another topic altogether. Okay. So dispatch riders might just, maybe you may give the dispatch rider something to deliver, and for some reason they don't deliver it on that day, or on the day that you've set for the rider to deliver the package or to deliver the dress. So you have to set a production timeline that takes into account all these different things. Okay. So if you say production takes 5 to 10 working days or whatever, you have to stick to that. Now, with ready to wear, ideally, with ready to wear, these clothes should already be ready. That's why it's called ready to wear. Like, it should be like, even if you are selling online, it should be the same experience with someone that walks into the shop. So if someone walks into a shop, all they are going to see are the clothes that are ready for them to buy. Do you understand? So if they walk into the shop, if there are 8 size 10 dresses available, that is what is available. So they should buy from what is available, right? It's the same thing even if you are doing your ready to wear business and you're advertising online. It's not when somebody places an order for your ready to wear business that is supposed to be ready to wear, and then they end up waiting for the next for the next 3 weeks for you to deliver. That's not what we're trying to do here. Like, no, my Silem stars cannot be doing that. Do you understand? So you have to be very careful when it comes to production timeline and be transparent. If a design is out of stock and you know that you may not be able to meet up, maybe you tell the person it's going to get to them in a week, right? Or in 3 days. If that particular one that they have ordered for is out of stock and you know you will not be able to make another one in that short frame of time, please tell them it is out of stock. I beg you. Tell them it is out of stock instead of embarking on or trying to sew that thing within that short time frame. And maybe your tailor, for some reason, might say, madam, I'm sick. Do you understand? The tailor can just decide that, they are sick or they are tired. They can also. I've seen something, in this fashion business, so guys, it may not be to me, it may not have happened to me directly, but happening to my mom, like I said, it's like happening to me. The tailor can just wake up and say, madam, I don't tire, I don't tire, no fit sew today. And you're like, you understand? You're like, are you serious, sir? You're for real, you cannot sew today. And that is it. He cannot sew. You will not flog him or you will not beat him. So those are the things you have to consider. So let's move on to the next point. Let's talk about hiring staff and tailors. So that is like, it flows from the last point. So the kind of tailors you hire should be the type that can sew the particular design that your brand is known for. So if you sew corporate dresses and you go and hire a tailor that can only sew blazers or suits, or if you sew women's clothes, you cannot go and hire a tailor that only sews men's clothes. So you have to really, really vet the tailor that you are employing. Be sure that they can, if you're using a pattern, which is what I would advise any ready-to-wear business owner to do. It's better for you to use a pattern than allowing your tailors to sew whatever they need to sew using freehand. Freehand is great, but when you are looking at ready to wear, you want it to be, there should be consistency when it comes to ready to wear. By consistency, I don't know if consistency is the right word I should use. So when I say consistency, I don't know that consistency is the right word, but your tailors should be able to, if this batch of clothes now are size 8 of this particular design, this particular batch, and maybe you've sold out that batch, and then they produce another batch. That second batch, as long as it's size 8 of the same design, must be identical. I'm using the word must. It has to be identical with the next batch. You cannot sew this batch and then this pocket is higher maybe this pocket is 1 inch, is maybe, let me just say this pocket is 10 inches from the shoulder, and then in the next batch the pocket is 15 inches from the shoulder or 8 inches from the shoulder. That doesn't show consistency. That doesn't show consistency. Do you understand? So when it comes to your production, you need tailors that can be able to follow your patterns. So if you have patterns for each of your designs, your tailors should be able to follow those patterns. They should have experience working with patterns. So if you have a tailor now that comes to maybe interview in your fashion business or at your fashion house, and then they are saying that they can only use freehand, and you know that in your business you guys use patterns, or you tell your tailors to use patterns, and the tailor has told you that, see, I can only do freehand cutting and freehand sewing. That's a problem if you hire that tailor, because they will not be able to follow your pattern. And if they are not following your pattern, unless they are very, very good, there may be one or two errors or differences between this one and that one. Okay, so the kind of staff and the tailors you choose to employ is very, very important. Now, another thing that is very important is quality control. When it comes to ready to wear business, quality control is very, very important. Like, it cannot be overemphasized. Quality control. Now, what is quality control? This is the point where at the end of production, you gather all the clothes, check that the sizes are what you say they are. Obviously, as a ready to wear brand, you should have like your tags, maybe with your brand name and the size of that particular garment. So if that particular garment is a size 8, you have to measure. You also have to think about, you all have to measure that garment and be sure that the dimensions of that ready to wear size 8 garment matches with your size chart. We're going to talk about size charts as we go, as we progress. We're going to talk about size charts. But obviously, you should have a size chart. Now, if, for example, in your size chart, you have bust 35, waist 29, and hip 38. I'm just calling my own measurements. So those are my measurements, actually. That's why it comes freely to my mind. So bust 35, waist 28, and hip 38. So you have to check and confirm that the size that you have produced matches with the size that you have promised in your size chart. Because we're ready to wear, the people that are going to order from you, whether online or offline. Okay, if it's offline, they might have to fit it and then be sure that it's fine before they buy it. But if it's online, the people that are going to order from you are depending on your size charts to deliver. Okay, so they are depending on your size chart. So if your size chart says 35, 28, 38, then the garments produced should have those dimensions. Okay, so if a person orders knowing that their size is a size 8 on your size chart, if they order a size 8, the garments should fit them. Do you understand? So quality control is very important. So quality control is the point where you confirm that the sizes match with your size chart, and then you also check that the style and the details match with whatever you've advertised on your website or online or wherever. So if there's a pocket here, maybe a blue pocket here on your design that is online, okay? I'm just checking that my microphone is on. So if there's a blue pocket here on your design that is online, okay, when the garment is produced, the tailor might have forgotten to put the blue pocket. It happens. It happens. So you have to check. Quality control at that point would help you say, okay, check, there's no blue pockets. So they have to go back and put the blue pockets. Do you understand? So quality control is a very important aspect of ready to wear. So before the design, before the dress or whatever leaves your fashion house or store or whatever, you're sure that is everything is right. Do you understand? So that's where quality control comes in. With quality control, you're also checking that there are no loose threads dangling about. The zipper works, because you may go and end up putting a zipper that, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but you might put a zipper that maybe you fixed it while the zipper was zipped up, but then when you want to zip it down, maybe it doesn't go past a certain point, or the zipper is damaged. When you try to zip it down, it's stuck, it doesn't go down. It happens. So quality control there calls for, okay, check the zippers, check the buttons, check everything, check the hooks in the dress, check that everything is okay. So before it leaves your shop or your studio or whatever, you're sure that it's great and it's fine. Okay, so let's move on. And the next one is you have to consider your access to raw materials. Where are you going to source your fabrics from or your accessories from? Are you sourcing it based on proximity, based on a very close place that you can buy materials, or are you traveling to source your fabrics? Now, if you're traveling to source your fabrics, you have to think of that time that it takes you to go all the way to get that fabric and come back. We've talked about how to charge a customer in the last live stream. If you did not watch the last live stream, you can go back and check it out. Just go on my page and then click on live. You're going to see the last live stream. So we talked about charging a customer for sewing, and we also talked about how you have to think about where you're getting your fabrics and all of that from. So it also applies with ready to wear. You have to think of the access you have to your raw materials. What's it going to take you to get whatever raw material you're going to use? So you have to consider that as well, because that would determine what you would set or how much you would charge or how much you would set as a price for the garments you're selling in your ready to wear line. Okay. Now, the next thing is marketing plan. You need to have a marketing plan. Okay, so we're ready to wear. Now, with bespoke tailoring, you can thrive based on word of mouth. So if you sew a nice dress for one person, they can tell someone else, and then it will keep going like that and like that and like that. And before you know it, you have 20 customers. Before you know it, you have 40 customers, just based on your work that has spoken for itself. Okay, just based on your design that someone is wearing, and then literally the person that is wearing your design is a walking billboard. Do you understand? So that person is able to advertise for you just by saying, okay, I got this my dress from so person. She's on Instagram. She sews very nice dresses, and then before you know it, right? But we're ready to wear. If you are not already an established brand, it might be difficult for you to get customers at the start when it comes to ready to wear, especially because people will be skeptical, especially people that are buying from you online. They'll be skeptical because they will not know whether you can actually sew well or not. Do you understand? So they'll be skeptical. They may not know what your work is like. So they may be skeptical to order from you. So that is where marketing comes in. You need to be able to have a marketing plan, or you need to have a marketing plan. How are you going to advertise your business? How are you going to advertise your designs? Are you going to register for fashion shows? That's also a way to market your design. So are you going to register for fashion shows? You're going to display your outfits or your designs so that people that come for the fashion show and people that watch the fashion show online and on TV can actually see your designs and then patronize you? Or are you going to be running Instagram ads or YouTube ads or Google ads or WhatsApp ads? How are you going to advertise? Are you going to advertise online or offline? Are you going to have a billboard that has your name on it and some of your designs and your address? You need to have a marketing plan. Sorry guys, I'm talking fast because I need to leave soon. So pardon me if I'm rushing through this. I just need to leave soon. That's why I'm talking so fast. Okay. Yes, another thing is, if you choose to advertise online, what platform are you going to advertise on? Now, if you advertise on TikTok, for example, the users or the people that you would reach on TikTok are not the same people that you would reach if you advertise on Facebook. So the audience that usually uses TikTok are not the same that uses Facebook. Do you understand? So the place or the platform you choose to advertise is also very important, because when you've picked your niche, you know your target audience, you need to now decide what platform can I reach my target audience. Do you understand? What platform can I reach my target audience? Now with TikTok, you may get a lot of Gen Zs on TikTok, maybe some millennials, but you may not get, like, our parents now may not be on TikTok. Do you understand? Our parents may not be on TikTok. So if your target audience are women aged 40 to 60, for example, you may not find those women on TikTok. So if you're advertising on TikTok for a ready-to-wear brand that targets women that are aged 40 to 60, you're not going to get your target audience. And it means that that ad or that advert you did is a waste, because if you don't get your target audience in the like when you advertise, then that advert did not do what it was supposed to do. Do you understand? So marketing is a huge part. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I think we're almost done, guys. Okay, the next thing is sizing. So I talked about size charts. You need to develop a size chart. and you need to stick to it. So your size chart can start off as one thing, but as it progresses, you can modify your size chart just a bit. So your size chart is not set in stone, okay? So you can have a size chart that is for size 8, 35, 28, 38. But if you realize that most of the people ordering from you, they complain that the bust is always tight for your size 8 dresses. They always complain that the bust is tight. They always complain that the bust is tight. Then you have to come back and sit down and look into your size chart and see if it's worth modifying. Do you understand? So if your customers or most of your customers that order a size 8 are complaining every time that the bust of the dress is tight, then you may have to increase your bust measurement on your size chart by maybe 1 or 2 inches so that when you're producing, you implement that change. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yes, your size chart has to be detailed. It has to be transparent. Your customer has to see your size chart, especially if they're ordering online. They need to see it and decide whether that particular size is the right fit for them. Okay? Now, if you're making things like bustiers and corsets, for your size chart, you may have to include bust points and under bust measurements. Now, most size charts have just bust, waist, hip, most of them. Some even have shoulder, some have round sleeve, depending on what exactly the ready-to-wear business, or depending on the designs that the ready-to-wear business has. Um, so, depending on the kind of design you're making, that will determine what you need to put in your size chart. So like I said, if you're making a lot of bustiers, that will require you to get the right bust point and under bust measurements. If you're making a corset, that will also require you to get the right. Guys, a lot of things are happening. My phone is hot, my battery is low. So please, I'll be leaving soon, okay? By the way, guys, there's super chat and there's super thanks. So if you want to support me, say thank you, dash me money, then do that. Just click the dollar sign beside the comments bar and you can dash me money. Do you understand? Okay. So let's move on. So if you're doing a lot of bustiers and corsets, you may have to include bust points and under bust measurements for your size charts. Okay. So your size charts, the size chart that you develop has to the size chart that you develop depends, or the contents of your size chart depends on the kind of design that you produce in your ready-to-wear brand. Now, you also have to educate your clients on your sizing pattern. So tell your clients that, okay, for bust points and under bust, this is how I want you to measure it. You may not be able to tell all your clients this because you may not even know some of these clients are ordering from you, especially online. Someone might just place an order and you might not know them and they might just ship it out. But if you have the opportunity to, maybe walk-in clients and the other clients that might reach out to you and ask you a question based on the sizing and all of that, you can educate them and tell them that, okay, for the bust point, it means you measure from your shoulder to your bust point, because some clients may not know what bust point measurement is. So you tell them that it's measuring from your shoulder to your nipple and all that. Okay, so the last and final point we'll talk about is quantity of production. So when you launch a collection of designs, let me just go through what I wrote. Okay, when you launch a ready-to-wear collection, okay? So let's say in your collection you have 10 designs, for instance. Before you rush and produce 50 pieces of those 10 designs, that's how many? 50 times 10 is what? 500, Abi? Before you rush and go and produce 500 designs, please pause, just pause. Take a breath, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath first, because if you go ahead and produce that amount, the truth is that, like I said before, the truth is that customers or your clients will tilt towards some designs more than others. So you may have a peplon top as one of your designs, you may have a peplon dress as the second design, you may have a two-piece. Customers may tilt to the two-piece for one reason or the other. Maybe because they like the design, maybe because they like the fit or whatever. They may not buy the peplon top as much. I'm giving an example. They may not buy the peplon dress as much. Maybe if you have 10 customers, 7 will buy the two-piece, and then the other 3 might now, maybe 2 will now buy the peplon top, and only 1 will buy the peplon dress. So imagine if you've gone ahead to produce 50 pieces of all of them. It means that the one that people are buying more will sell out faster than the ones that people are not buying. And if people are not buying these designs for one reason or the other, you find that you have your money hanging. And then at that point, you might have to do sales. And that is why a lot of these fashion brands end up doing sales, because those sales are usually on items or designs that have stayed in stock for so long, and people are probably not buying those ones as much. So you have to consider that when you're talking about, or when you're thinking about the quantity that you're supposed to produce actually. So an advice, like I said, is to start small. So start with maybe a few pieces of each size in each design. So if you have 5 designs in your collection, you can start, maybe you're doing a size 8 to size 12, for example. You can start with 3 pieces of size 8, 3 pieces of size 10, 3 pieces of size 12 for this particular design. So that's a total of 9 pieces for one design. And then you do the same thing for the other designs you have. So for each design, you have 9 pieces. 9 pieces is a good place to start. So if by the time you market and then you have your orders and all of that, you discover that people are tilting towards this particular design and less of this one, you can discontinue a particular design. There's no harm in that. If you find that people are not buying this particular design as much, you can discontinue it. You can stop producing that particular design and then focus on the ones that people are buying more of. And that's why you see that some of these brands have best sellers, because they focus on, the one that is selling more. So yes, that's it, guys. I need to leave, but I'm just going to interact with you guys for like the next 2 minutes. So questions: did you learn a lot from this live stream? What would you like to learn? Or what would you like us to talk about in the next live stream? Let's talk for the next 2 minutes, guys. I want to hear from you. What did you think of this? Like, oh my God, my tripod is about to fall on me. What did you guys think? Was this helpful? Did you learn a lot? Can you even hear me? Did you learn a lot? Let me know, okay? If you have any questions about anything I've just said, let me know as well. We've spoken for almost an hour now. It's 55 minutes. So guys, I'm waiting for you. Any questions? Did you learn a lot? Anything? Let me even see the chat, see if there's any question I actually my chat. Okay. You're welcome, Glory. Okay, Glory says it's helpful. I'm so glad it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you so much. The last live stream we had was last month, first Saturday of last month. And funny enough, that Saturday was actually the 4th of February, and this is the 4th of March. So it seems like it's the same day and all of that. You're welcome, Glory. So happy. I'm so happy to have you here. So thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for coming to see my face today live. I'm always happy to talk to you guys, basically. So Tolu says they learned a lot. Thank you, Tolu, for joining. Okay, so Gloria says her problem is logistics in starting a ready-to-wear. So in logistics, you have to think about where the client is. How do you want to deliver? If you have an order from outside the country, what logistics agency are you going to use? Are you going to use DHL? Are you going to use which particular logistics agent are you going to use? So you have to consider all of that and factor it into your shipping fee. So when you talk about ready to wear, you have to think about the Glory says she can't wait for the next class, for the next chat. I can't wait for the next live stream either. So you have to think about where your customer is and what logistics agents you are going to use to send the garments to your customer. If you are shipping or you're delivering to someone within, I'm hoping to open. Minanu says they learned a lot. I'm glad you did. So yeah, I think that, like I said, think about the logistics, how you plan to send it to the customer, and incorporate that into your delivery or your shipping fee. So when you are doing a ready-to-wear brand, you have to let the customer know that this is the shipping fee. So if they're ordering from the US, for instance, the shipping fee cannot be the same with someone that is within Nigeria and is ordering from your business. Okay. So also, I would say that if you frequently send clothes abroad, maybe you have a lot of customers, US, Canada, you can actually meet these DHL people. And I think they offer a different package for businesses that frequently ship abroad. So you don't have to pay at the same rate each time you want to send something abroad. Do you understand? So if you have that package with DHL or any other logistics company, they can give you at a better rate because they know that you frequently use their service. So they might give you at a better rate. I hope that answered your question. Uh, is there any other question before I leave? Any other question? How do you get clients? Light TV says, how do you get clients? So like I said, with ready to wear, a lot of marketing is needed. With bespoke tailoring, like I said, um, with word of mouth, you can really go far just by word of mouth. People can just keep telling the next person and telling the next person. And before you know it, you have 20 customers. But with ready to wear, like I said, you need to have a marketing plan. You need to market your designs, market your dresses. If you need to get models, get models. If you need to do photo shoots so that you can get, beautiful pictures of these designs, you have to do that. So go the extra mile with ready to wear. You can't just sit on your ass and then fold your hands and wait for customers to come knocking at your door. With ready to wear, a lot of marketing is required, and that's what makes it a bit difficult compared to bespoke tailoring. But like I said, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So if you want to do ready to wear, you will excel in Jesus' name. But you have to do the work, like I said. Okay? So, guys, any more questions? I'm about to go. Guys. Any more questions? I'm actually so happy to. I'm glad that I was able to speak to you guys today. I didn't think this live stream would be possible because I was having second thoughts. I'm like, should I do the live stream? Should I not do the live stream? uh I don't know, Sha, but I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad I was able to speak to you guys in real time. Thank you guys so much for joining. Okay, so guys, my microphone is dead, my battery is low, so I have to go. So someone is asking if I can be their business mentor. Of course I can. Please send me a DM on Instagram at d_Silem if you want me to be your mentor. I'll be glad to. So, guys, I hope you guys heard the last thing I said. Like I said, I don't know whether there's an association of Nigerian tailors in Nigeria, but I do know that there's an association of Ivory Coast tailors that work in Nigeria. So, guys, I have to go now. My microphone is about to die. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for joining. I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye, guys.